Hello everyone, been quite a while since I've done a teardown video. For those who do follow them, I am still working on the cartridge mod that I was doing on the last video. That's taken quite some time. In the meantime, I received this through the post. I thought I'd do a video of opening it, and this, I haven't even opened it yet, so I'm not sure exactly what we get inside. We'll take a look at the box first, which is really nice cardboard actually. Like, for a clone, it's like as if it's replicating the cardboard from the NES Classic. It's quite a sturdy cardboard. But anyway, the Mini Machine Anniversary Edition Entertainment System with 30 games built in. Now, most of these have like 300, 500, 600 games built in, but I'm actually happy at the fact that this has only got 30, because it's not going to be full of crappy ROM hacks or duplicates and things like that. The main reason why I brought this one is because here, as you'll see, SD card support, which means I can, all my favourite games that I play, I can put on SD card, put in there, and then I don't have to get the cartridges out then. And I was quite surprised some of these games on here. Mario, Mega Man 2 and Kirby Adventure were the two that I was quite interested. Ghosts and Goblins as well. I'm not sure if these are hacked ROMs on there, and whether there'll be any changes to them, or whether it is the full original games. So it'd be interesting to see that. And there's all the sides. This sadly is only AV output. I was hoping it would be HDMI, but it's not. That's not a problem. So let's open it up and see what we've got inside. There's nothing on the back. So 2 pads, and here is the console itself. Very similar to the Christmas edition NES Classic that I did a video of quite some time ago. Apart from this has what looks to be proper kind of Wii pad supports there, but the unit itself is very similar. And then we have a 5 volt, is it 5 volt? Yeah, most likely 5 volt DC in through mini USB. Our AV out comes out there, and our SD card slot there. Let's take a look at the pads. Got more stuff under there. Pads feel quite nice actually. Quite strong plastic as well. We'll see how they fare up when we're playing the actual console. Well, they don't feel too bad. What we've got in the bottom. So we've got our AV cable, which looks as if it's stereo, but it's most likely only mono sound output, but it might be split across the 2 channels. We've got our plug here, which they've sent me a USB lead and a 2-pin plug, which I did actually specify UK plug, but they've only sent me a Euro one, but that's not a problem. And a converter, which is also very good to me. And we have a manual, all in Japanese or Chinese. You have to forgive me, I'm not sure which. Oh, it is in English here at the back. User's manual, mini NES game, mini TV anniversary edition. Built in 30 classic games. Yeah, all straightforward. So, before we power it up and take a look at the games on the system, we shall tear down the console and see what's inside it, because I'm quite interested to see how the SD card is programmed in. Now, like the Christmas edition, I'm assuming it's all going to be in one board, but with these AV output ones, sometimes they come on two boards, so this might actually be a 2 or 3 board console, but we'll get it opened and we'll find out. Seems to be the screws are under the feet, so yep, easily come off. Right, now I need a screwdriver. Right, I've took all the necessary screws out. There was just 4 on the bottom underneath the feet. And then if we take the lid off, we will see that there are a combination of 3 boards inside. Here's the main board, which I've already unscrewed. The power switch here, which is just a switch. You got your actual power unit here and your AV out here, and then you've got your main board here, which, as you'll see, it's a glob top. There's that crystal. I'm not sure what these are, but possibly extra controller pinouts for the 15-pin Hori pad. And if we take a look on the other side, here's where all our SD stuff is. Now, it's a bit upsetting because what I was hoping for is hoping to see the SD board separate to the actual emulator board. Sorry, I keep going out of screen. And then I was hoping to sort of remap it and figure it out so I could then start making my own SD card slots, but it's going to be too difficult from this one because a lot of the pins go straight through underneath into that glob top and you're never going to trace them back, so that's a shame about that. But if we take a look at this, we've got a couple of chips here. This one hasn't got any markings on it and this one has. I'll do a close-up of that, but I can't find any info on them. I think they're probably just logic chips. If anybody knows what they are, leave a comment below. We also have a board model number here, which is the TF2, and you'll see 17th of the 11th 1, or it could be written, the Japanese write the dates different. Is it the 17, the year, the 11th December, and the 1st of December, 1st of October, sorry, 1st of November 2017 possibly, is the TF 2.0. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, nicely, you see the controller ports here are connected with little connectors there instead of just soldered straight onto the board, which is a nice little addition you don't usually see in a Famiclone. But yeah, not a lot inside there really. I'm quite surprised at how small it's all put together and how nicely it's all put together. I mean, it seems as if everything is coming directly out of the chip, which is also quite surprising. There's no... everything just feeds off and just out, so I think that this chip under here, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but it seems like all the menu system for the SD card as well as the Famiclone is just all built into one, but I haven't turned it on yet, so I don't really know how it talks to the SD slot, so we'll get it back together and then we'll get it plugged up and see exactly what happens when we turn it on. Right, so now we're going to test out the console. And as you can see, we've got a menu system that is very similar to the NES Classic. Unfortunately on this one though, there doesn't seem to be, even though we have the icons at the top what you can see, there doesn't seem to be any way that you can actually select them. And none of the buttons you press actually go up to that top menu there, so they seem to be just images and don't really do anything. If we take a look at the games, we've got the full selection of Mario Brothers games for the NES. Then we got Dr. Mario, Ice Climber, Tecmo Bowl, Balloon Fight, Adventures of Link, Snow Brothers, Battle City, Chip and Dale, Circus Charlie, Pac-Man, Mega Man 2, Kirby Adventure, Star Tropics, Gradius, Ghosts and Goblins, sorry, The Jackal, Excitebike, Double Dragon 2, Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong. I'm not sure if that's the math because I'm actually viewing this on HD TV, and to be honest, I'm not sure how it's going to record. It might record a bit better because it does upscale, but on my screen at the minute I cannot read whatever is written under Donkey Kong. It is just pixelated quite badly. But we have another Donkey Kong there. Bobble, Simon's Quest and Castlevania, Galaga, Super Contra, Ring King, and then your SD card option there. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that it was going through quite fast at points, and that is the controller is quite sensitive. Sometimes you'll push it and tap and it will go twice instead of just once. But it does just really seem to be only a problem while you're on the menu, and when you're in games it doesn't, or haven't noticed yet, it ever cause a problem. But you have a really good selection of games, and they are all the full versions. They're not hacked ROMs with any differences. They are all just the original full versions. Well, I haven't tested every one, but the ones I have tested so far are definitely just the standard version ROMs, which is really good as well. But then we've got the TF card games, which is your SD games. So if we select that option, this is an SD card that I've just put together just for testing, just to see. I've been going through and seeing which games will load in it, and this is where we come with the first problem, is that you'll notice that there's 23, it goes to 23, now there's just a couple missing, but it does actually cap off at 26 for some reason. You can't add any more than 26 games on your SD card, which is just seems insane, and I have no idea why they've capped it off like that. It just seems stupid. But and also these are folders which you cannot access. You can't open a folder. If you click any button it just tries to load a ROM file, and if it's a folder it just crashes the system and you have to reset the system. Now the final problem with this is I've literally gone through around, it's got to be at least 100 games so far, and the rate of the games actually working is very minimal. I'd say probably less than 5%. Even really well-known games are just not loading, they're just freezing. And I've tried zip files, I've tried NES files and batch files as well, and nothing. They just freeze and you have to reset the machine. So there are a lot of games that just won't work, and if I remember right, only one of these Batman games works. The other two will just freeze. So it's not as if they've just programmed the popular games in. It is just some kind of bad SD card reader, which is not the best. But as you did see when I opened up the board, it does look like all the SD card reader is built into the glob top, the system on a chip. So it's probably just some shoddy thing hacked together and not an actual chip controlling the SD like files and whatever. So it just seems a bit shoddy really, which is a shame. But other than that, it's a really good system, and for the price it cost me around £23. I brought it from AliExpress, and it's nice for the fact it's got an SD card slot on, but it's, if you're going to buy a system for an SD card slot, then you don't really want this one. But other than that, if you just want to play some decent games, then definitely it's worth purchasing, because there's some really good games on there, and because they are the full games, then it just makes it that much better. And it's if you just take into the 30 games an account, it's on par with the NES Classic, and it's got a really good array of games in there, and it is definitely worth getting, even if you've got an NES Classic. They all play quite well. I haven't come across any problems with the emulation, and the sound is quite good as well. I haven't noticed any skipping or any out-of-tune music or anything like that. It does seem to hold up really well. There is a slight little tiny difference in the colour palette, but unless you're holding it up to a normal NES screen by screen, you're not really going to notice it. So it's not really a problem. And as I said, the pixelating in the menus doesn't really seem to have any effect in the games that I've seen so far neither. So yeah, if you've got one of these and you like it or you dislike it, leave a comment in the section down below. And if you want to see any more family clones and teardowns and things like that, then please subscribe and like the video. Thanks for watching. Take care.